Imagine walking on the glass retractable roof every week.
Dude,
like, I'm safe.
Not for me.
I'm safe.
Cleaning
not going to
cleaning
collapse
up
below me.
a huge pile of shit. No, we're not talking about Oregon State's 28-0 loss at Air Force this past weekend. We will talk about that. We're talking about the hypothetical, somewhat fantastical, maybe somewhat realistic, potentially existing clear retractable roof of
the non-existent,
the newly rendered and designed, at least animated, Major League Baseball stadium in Portland, Oregon.
Wait, there's an animation of it?
Well, I'm just referring to it as an animation. A rendering is technically an animation. But
it's the same rendering that they announced when they had like the Terminal 2 site.
Just create your own anime series of a baseball team playing in Portland and keep airing it daily until Major League Baseball expands to Portland.
Dragon Ball P.
We'll workshop that. Oh,
I get it.
JP, before you hopped on, we somehow started talking about retractable roofs a little bit because we were talking about koozies.
Somehow.
Because we were talking about koozies, and then
sense.
Benny talked about.
I'm following.
Yeah,
koozies are like retractable roofs
because the Twins Stadium doesn't have a retractable roof, and neither does the Viking Stadium. But the Viking Stadium has a completely clear. Half of it is completely clear. And I haven't looked up. I know that building kills birds. I don't know if the roof is a receptacle for bird excrement. But the architect at the time said clear is the new retractable. So it seemed it would be kind of like a double down if Portland baseball was like the roof is clear and it's also retractable. I don't really know what problem that's solving. But if it gets a team to Portland, then sweet. That's all that really matters. But
that is the best slogan.
Sure.
If it gets a team to Portland, what does it matter? Well, that's the slogan.
If it just get a team, any team, OA, high A, fall ball, whatever. No, I thought we should talk about something exciting and optimistic, and the Oregon State men's basketball segment will be later in the show.
Oh,
so I thought,
hell yeah,
we'll get our excitement off there, but
no, we're getting off.
We are getting.
Yeah.
You know who's not getting off? Our opponents getting any shots off because it's getting blocked.
And
Mabel, are you sure you're not the one that wrote the slogan that clear is the new retractable?
Is the new retractable. Yes, I'm sure. I wish. It was actually ChatGPT. That's why I've
great wordsmith.
This multi-decade long rivalry before ChatGPT went public. It's just been foiling my efforts left and right.
It happens,
right?
Everyone.
But clear. That's the latest thing that the Portland Diamond Project has said.
No, not the latest. They haven't done any new renderings. I just looked at the site, and it said that the renderings below are based on the old site that they had initially looked into purchasing, and that they will release new renderings that fit the area of the new location by whatever the bridge is called, the pedestrian only bridge.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of cool. If they'd be a pedestrian only bridge that leads into the stadium, I mean, parking will be a nightmare.
That would be cool. Yeah, I mean,
that would everywhere in Portland anyway. That doesn't really matter.
If they figure out a way to make the bridge be like, this is what you do: you park across the river, walk across the bridge, get to the stadium.
Yeah,
that completes the purpose of the bridge. Right now, it's like, walk across it. He just goes from OMSI to the little air tram. OHSU air tram
with no open container on game days. So you're not tailgating, you're bridge gating. You can have a beer in a koozie, the retractable
that is the
beers.
full circle of
and just walk across. Yeah, that's perfect. We just
Good
solved
job.
it.
You guys brought
Figure
it back,
it out,
and
man,
I didn't
Fred.
miss the whole first half of the conversation.
I do think, and we'll move on in a second, but I do think that
Never.
people listen to this show probably are somewhat interested or are at least like adjacently connected to the professional sports landscape in Portland, Oregon. And if you're an Oregon State fan listening to this, which it would be weird if you weren't, but based on our comments that occur deep into episodes, people are fans of other schools and other markets. And thank you for listening. We love you for being here. But you're probably a fan of baseball to some degree. Could it be Major League Baseball? Could be casual fan. Maybe you'd be super stoked for an MLB team in Portland. Maybe you'd just be like slightly amused. But I do think it'd be sweet, and I think it's pretty obvious. I mentioned this in our group chat a few weeks ago when I think we were talking about this, that MLB has made it no secret that they want to expand to to 32, and it would make sense to have a team in the West and a team in the East. And I'm just kind of, mainly because I liked the hat as a kid, but also I think they were wronged, and I've become just something of just a fan of markets getting their teams back. I'd love a team to go to Montreal. That solves your East team and brings back one of the coolest hats that have ever existed in Major League Baseball, and then put a team in Portland. But I have also read that like they're just really into Nashville right now, which I get. Nashville's fun. But so Nashville
and Salt Lake's
in there, but according to Buster Olney, I think Portland has made a few more for waves than Salt Lake has. There's at least for like in terms of like things in place, and I think a lot of it too isn't anything that like the Portland Diamond Project could do, or even like Salt Lake could do. It's just like, I think geographically a team in Portland for what the realignment would need, and moving every team to a 4-team division. Portland makes a lot of sense, and I know the Mariners really like it. But there's no way Portland and Salt Lake get a team. I don't think.
No,
but Utah just got a hockey team, and they haven't even named it yet. So maybe finish this candy bar, Utah, before opening another one. How about that?
I don't know. There might be some Major League Baseball teams moving. But that might be a conversation for another time.
That could be for another time, but I think the most obvious one is the Rays, and I think they are about to break ground on a new stadium while also trying to repurpose their old stadium and also playing in the Yankees spring training stadium. So the Rays either have 0 stadiums or they have 3 stadiums, depending on how you look at it.
That may be the final blow for the Rays. We'll see.
We'll see indeed. Well, my hometown team is for sale, but you're not allowed to buy it and move it. Maybe there's enough money in the Belligerent Beavs coffers to make an offer, but I will be the poison pill that stops that from happening.
Working from the inside.
Oh, well, how are you guys?
Drained. I don't know what happened to it.
Our bank account is drained, but we own the Minnesota Twins now. Fair. I would do that, to be honest.
I would probably do that.
Anyway, it is episode 166 of the Belligerent Beavs Podcast. Thank you so much, listener/viewer, for tuning in wherever you are and however you are. It is Sunday, November 17th at 8:25 p.m. Pacific time. It's been about 32 hours since Oregon State football kicked off against Air Force, and we're still waiting for the first OSU points in that game in Colorado Springs. So yeah, maybe depending on how you look at it, no matter how you look at it, one of the worst weekends in Oregon State football history, I'd say since the Anderson era, maybe even longer than that. We do have positive things to get into, and we will. But none of them have anything to do with the football team. And
I was going to say, where is that?
I do truly resent anyone saying we're trying to gaslight people into looking at both sides of things as if, you know,
who said that?
As if you just name bunch of numbers, whatever, as if running a college football program is a complex endeavor with many moving parts and nuance and circumstances affecting everything. There's really nothing positive to be said at all. We'll still talk about the game, whatever. But game aside, how has your guys' weekends been going on the personal side? It can be
terrible. It was
awful.
It was pretty good, honestly. And I'll get into it more. But my faith in this football team is just non-existent right now. So I was not expecting a win, but yeah. So not expecting a win did not allow it to.
You just said pretty good. What did anything good happen to you this weekend?
I mean, not particularly. Yuri's out of town. She left this morning, so I just played a lot of video games today and watched a lot of NFL. Well,
that's fun.
Not a lot.
I played a lot of Pokemon Snap today.
Dude, the 64 version, or is there a new version?
No, there's a new Switch version. It's not that new. It's like 4 years old, or 3 years old. But we bought it like a long time ago, and Ev at the time was too little and was like, "This is boring." Like you just sit and slowly float by when you take pictures of Pokemon, and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I got it because you like Pokemon. I don't really care about Pokemon, but there's something that's like zen about just like floating and taking pictures and just like trying to be a photographer with these fake animals." And so I played a lot of that today. It felt
How
good.
many eventual Instagram influencers did Pokemon Snap create? Because the number's not 0, and it's definitely more than one.
Wait, what is this game?
It's where you take pictures of Pokemon.
Just like slowly float through this land, and you like move around as like you're looking through a camera viewer and take pictures of Pokemon. And then they give you scores based on how good the
pictures are. The first version of this game,
people that became influencers.
Well, I mean, somebody probably
it was a video game about taking cool pictures that came out when we were like 9 years old.
I
think
I thought it meant they had a following of them, like a Twitch following of them.
No, but eventually all of those people had Pokemon game accounts.
It was the only Pokemon game I had growing up.
Really?
Was Pokemon Snap, and I never got into all the other ones. Didn't get into cards. The only thing I did with cards was I would.
You didn't get into the Game Boy games?
No.
Oh, those are the best ones.
I just didn't. Yeah, but I would cut the cards and like swap the like artwork into other cards.
Dude, that's
I would,
sweet.
Scrape them out. But then I would sell them to kids as ultra rare misprints. Yeah.
Oh, that's the most believable thing you've ever said.
You've still got a few years to get your way onto Forbes 40 under 40, and I think that needs to be part of the nomination.
It all started in 6th grade.
Right.
I would just have kids give me free cards, and then I would just slice out the artwork. This is a
Pocket and a Pokemon card, and JP's just like, super rare. And got
Pokemon
card. Poor Milton's lunch money for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
God, there you go, Jay.
Sorry, Milton.
Nice.
No, not really sorry. Milton. Yeah. If anything, it was a good life lesson. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Don't trust anyone.
Dude, the game I've been playing is called Survival. It's so sick. If you guys haven't heard of it, you should play it.
Survival.
I feel like I have heard of it.
You're like a 15.
You're the coach of a college football program left behind by 108-year-old conference and trying to find a way forward. This sounds like something I'm familiar with, Eddie.
God, I love this game.
I thought this was just NCAA 25.
It's literally called Survival. That's like a terrible branding play when literally games are survival.
It's called Survival Fountain of Youth. You're like a 16th century Spanish explorer that gets shipwrecked on an island, and you have to like figure out how to survive.
I'm in it.
It's sick. Yeah. It's cool. It's addicting. It's one of those games like where you can sit down. I was planning on playing like an hour before bed last night, and I looked up and it was like 3.5 hours later.
Right.
And Went to bed way too late.
Or you're going on Steam. You looked up and it was time to jump on it was time to jump on the podcast, and you've been playing for 36 hours.
Yeah, I played a lot today too.
Nice.
Oh, it is on PS5. The Captain's Edition.
Oh, check it out. I'm telling you, it is not money wasted.
I still need to
come out
recently.
Yeah, a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've been looking for a new PS5 game.
There you go.
Yeah, it's cool.
I still need to get into the newly released Backyard Baseball, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. JP, have you jumped into that yet?
I did. I bought it thinking I have I don't play a lot of Steam games because it's a PC game through Steam theoretically.
Right.
And because they essentially just like had to rebuild the entire game. None of the code was like left over for them to just try to port to other platforms. So they were like, all right, well, let's just focus on the one we do know it works with, which is PC. We'll rebuild it, whatever. I buy it thinking, okay, well, I can get Steam on my phone and like plug in my Backbone controller. I have Steam on my Mac. Like I could figure it out. And then I realized it's like, no, this is only Steam for PC. So if you're not on a PC, you're shit out of luck.
I bought it before learning that, so I guess I could go to like the public library and log into my.
You bought it?
Yeah, I bought it without realizing.
I have a workaround, but it's really shitty and really janky. But it works. You can play it.
There was like an old. I think it's still. I'd have to look this up, but there was like a site that was just like PC games for whatever. Like you could play like Oregon Trail and like just other computer games on it, and it had Backyard Baseball, like the more updated ones, and it was a little bit slower, but you could still do it. So, yeah.
This is I feel like it's called Whiskey or something. You download and then you can like.
Now I'm listening.
Yeah. I forget what it's called, but either way, like there are things out there that like mimic. Or they make Steam believe that you're playing on a PC essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
And you could do a bunch of other stuff, but I didn't want to go the whole route of like partitioning off my hard drive and like formatting it for Windows and then just for all this for Backyard Baseball. Like I love Backyard Baseball.
Just Backyard Baseball 97. Like it wasn't even the one with Barry or Griffey.
None of the players are in it. Yeah. So it was fun.
It has Pablo.
Like, the mini Bay does like playing it, but I hate loading it up because it's like chaos trying to make it run correctly on my iMac.
Right. I might just need to buy whatever the cheapest PC system is.
Yeah. You probably get one for like $100.
Okay. That's more money than I wanted to spend to play Backyard Baseball, but
for the $10
you're already in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially as they come up on the holidays where it's cold out and, like work theoretically slows down. Days are shorter.
Oh,
it's good time to whatever. Well, let's inject a little bit of energy into this with the beers segment because we are going to need some to talk about this fucking football game. I thought about going out and getting something special, but no, I decided not to. I just have my regular auxiliary hams because this until the football team is deserving of an extra effort, it's just going to get the light beer that's always in the fridge. Because
what makes it auxiliary?
Well, normally it's kind of like how like JP would have a Starburst, but also have like his like beer of the episode. I've gone into like trying to rotate my beers. I don't have the refined sommelier like palate for craft beer as JP does, but I would often have something, and then I'd also have a hams with me. So now I'm just making the auxiliary beer the primary for the segment, if you will.
Okay.
But it works the same way. But yeah, it's delicious.
It's like how we have 3 auxiliary quarterbacks, basically.
We have,
Am I using that?
You are. Right? Yes, you are.
Okay. All right.
And
three autumnal quarterbacks.
The opposite sub-optimal. Three auxiliary quarterbacks, but no plan, according to Logan Ryan. I thought Logan Ryan was fantastic as the color guy on the game yesterday. Really, because he was just saying every quiet part out loud. Anyway, JP, you flashed your starburst. Do you have anything else?
That's all I got
this evening.
Same reasons. I don't have the energy to go find something fresh and fun. Basketball deserves it.
Basketball does deserve it.
Fuck yeah, they do.
Yeah, but we'll come with the energy.
Yeah, it's still a little too early for like very meaningful results. So I'm not digging in too deep yet. Not to say that they can't do it, but I'm not gonna position my beer of choice on game 4 of the season.
I am halfway to China in the whole.
Benny already is
so deep.
Yeah,
in this.
Benny has the most expensive cocaine he's ever procured in his life for this beer segment. Just kidding. Benny has never done coke on the show. If you're new, it's just a bit.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, you could fact check us. Go watch all 165 past episodes. You may look real deep in the emergency episode. I wasn't there, so I can't vouch for Benny not doing cocaine on the emergency episode.
It just seemed like I did because the Pac-12 was falling apart in front of our eyes at that point.
And no, guys, I actually have a great idea. This is why this is actually a good thing for us. Just listen to me outline A, B, and C. No, that wasn't cocaine. That was just manic energy. There was an episode where we talked about Scarface a lot, but no actual cocaine was used at that time. Anyway, Benny, go ahead and tell us that you're drinking water, and we'll move on.
I did go in for a session of ketamine this last weekend, this last week. So that's probably why the game didn't really bother me that much.
There you go, Beavs fans.
So,
Bray got you down. Try ketamine therapy.
Yeah, it works for sure.
And where did you?
Water as well.
This episode of the Belligerent Beavs Podcast is brought to you by South Tacoma Ketamine and Associates.
Yeah. Northwest Ketamine Clinic. Shout out.
There we go.
They do it well.
We'll go into a sponsorship with anyone. We'll, as we said, when realignment started rearing its ugly head, we'll sign any deal with the devil. And I don't even consider that a devil, but that's just to say we're open-minded. So any Northwest Ketamine Clinic, reach out. We're here. Anyway, well, let's raise whatever we've got in front of us to men's basketball, who we will be talking about later, because we're going to get through the bullshit first. But here's to being 4-0. Way to go, guys. Keep it up.
Hell yeah.
So,
but let's go with the bad first.
We got to go with the bad first, and we can't dance around it. The final score, the Air Force Falcons 28, and yours and ours, Oregon State Beavers 0. It didn't sniff the end zone. Didn't really sniff the red zone. Didn't really sniff field goal
first
range.
Downs.
Barely sniffed a few first downs. There is nothing positive to say about this game. There is nothing.
No.
And even if we tried, it would be a waste. It would be dishonest. It wouldn't be fair to anyone. It wouldn't be fair to us. It wouldn't be fair to you, the listener. And it wouldn't be fair to the team either. I think what you can say is to start, we are a team that's been trending in the wrong direction for some time now. Air Force is trending in the right direction. That is a consistently well-coached team over there. Probably significantly better than the 2-7 record that they went into this game with. They were getting healthier. It was their senior day. That is the extent of positive spin I can even provide. I think it's important to always shed some respect towards your opponent, but god damn, I don't think there's a more discouraging or just all in out like humiliating loss. Like there's been like humiliating losses before where we were the team short on talent and, talent met effort in ways that resulted in a lopsided loss. There have been a lot of those over the years. We've been Beaver fans a long time. But a game like this, where you're still trying to get bowl eligible and like nary a spark from anyone was to be found. Like, it just seems like this is a team that wants the season to be over as soon as possible. And that's really frustrating, because even in some of the bad years, not, to say that, Bray has done the worst coaching job I've ever seen, because I'm not saying that, but like, it's been rare that we've seen a team just totally uninterested in playing football. And that is a thesis I'm coming away with this. And that's after sleeping on it and thinking on it for a while. Totally uninterested in playing the fucking game. And even on Oregon State teams that were short on talent, that's very rarely been the feeling. Am I wrong? Just how are you guys feeling? What was kind of your main takeaway from the game?
I thought that we were uninterested in playing last week against San Jose State and called that out too. And yeah, I agree with you. It seemed like Air Force had way more energy. They said something on the broadcast that really caught my attention, where it was a sideline reporter, and she goes, the energy on the Air Force sideline is really good. Like, people are up and jumping around.
And Oregon State is also here.
Yeah. When was the last time that you've heard a sideline reporter talk about how the energy was really good on the Oregon State sideline? Like, it just, I haven't heard that at all this season, really.
No.
And I don't know if it's a combination of us having so many coaches that are working together for the first time or are in their positions for the first time. But I will tell you, like, I'm a big Gundy fan for multiple different reasons, but our play calling looks more vanilla than I've ever seen on an Oregon State team. And I'm sorry, but like, I agree with you. I don't know if this is the worst coaching job I've ever seen, but you have to get your players interested in playing. And this isn't like the Anderson team. And I've heard people say like, oh, this feels like the Anderson era. We've had talent on the team this year, right? Like, we have talent. That team didn't have a ton, and that's no disrespect to the players, but like, these players are unbiasedly better.
Anderson never started a season 4-1, regardless of who he was playing.
And I think it was Bray that said that, like, Smith had a very, or I could think of another coach talking about Smith who had a really rough first year, but Smith inherited such a bad team, like, talent wise. They just weren't on the same playing field. And so you have all this talent on the team, and you're just like, you're getting smoked by teams that you're just so much better than talent wise. And so like, that's inexcusable to me. I don't know what's happened with this football team, and I don't know where we go from this. I think you give the coaches one more year. But like, I don't think that loyalty or the fact that they're new should buy them much more time. And I think their seats should be hot as fuck right now. Like, that this is inexcusable what we're watching. And I sympathize with Beaver fans that are just screaming from the mountaintop, because for everything that's happened with the conference and us being sort of left out, and this is the first year where we had a chance to showcase ourselves, and we're playing Mountain West schools. Like, at least when we were getting fucking crushed during the Anderson era, we were playing like, Pac-12 schools,
teams that were clearly better than us within our conference, and
we're getting fucking run off the field by San Jose State at home.
Yeah, home.
And it was, you could tell from the first drives of the game that the game at Air Force wasn't going to be a game. You could just tell. You could tell.
We had a fucking defensive procedural penalty before the first snap.
Dude, it's unwatchable at this point.
Right.
It's unwatchable.
Yeah, I agree, though, Benny. I think, where do you go from here? Like, how do you fix what's broken? And I think that there's something broken. I don't think that this is just, par for the course. These guys are hurt, or they aren't clearly as good as we envisioned, or whatever. I think something is broken, and that is what's lost the attention of the players. That is what has essentially just thrown out any motivation for them to have a successful season. And I'm like constantly thinking about where and when did this all go wrong. Obviously, I don't know if we can actually pinpoint it all. I think it is a bit of a snowballing effect that has led to this point. I think that the losing streak wears on people. It forces you to lose trust in people that maybe you lended trust to, without question previously, whether that's a coach or a player, or your teammate, right? But what really is sad to see is, for whatever reason, let me preface it with this way. When we started to have a rough beginning of this stretch, a lot of that came down to health on defense and how many of our 1-2 deep on the depth chart were out. And it was obvious. It was very, very obvious. Something wasn't, like, the lack of experience and talent was showcasing itself on the field compared to what we had seen before that, when everyone was primarily healthy. I would say that the defensive side of the ball has weathered that storm fairly well. I thought for the majority of this game, they had a tall task, but they kept it close enough. They got stops when they needed. They got turnovers when they needed it. They were acting as a linchpin for any sort of like motivation for the players, momentum for the team and the fans. And I think that they delivered on that much better than they have over the last 5 games before that. But the hard part is, now we thought, okay, if we get defense back and the offense kind of just keeps doing what it's doing, we'll be back to what we were, our expectations in a way. And we're not there on offense. And if anything, we have no excuses on offense. Yes, Jam got hurt. That sucked. And I said it even at the time, I think that is going to be a lot bigger of an injury than we think. And it's proven that way. But the offense hasn't figured out a way to reward the defense for getting a stop. They haven't given them enough time to rest. For a team that led the country in time of possession for the first 4 weeks. Yeah. We had 3 possessions or something over 2 minutes last weekend. So you're trotting the defense back out after sitting out there for 9 minutes as Air Force is just marching down and doing whatever they can to get first downs to move the chains. And then we're like, hey, hope you're feeling rested. We just punted at a minute 50. So
yeah, we just went 3 and out again.
Yeah, get back out there, do your thing again. Give us the ball back. So there's the cohesion part as a big picture worry is definitely my top concern of putting it all together at once. But then if you really dig into what the issue is, I truly wonder why the players don't want to run out of play, make the full tackle, show some fire, show some energy, get pumped up on the sideline. Even the turnover chainsaw celebration was boring. I mean, there wasn't any life, and I don't know. I can't pinpoint why that changed, but something changed.
Yeah,
some switch was flipped, and the players are not appearing as motivated. I'm not saying it's on the players, but the players are not appearing to be as motivated as they once were, and so I think we have to take a very, very long look in the mirror as a program and as coaches of the program.
Yeah.
And figure out why are they not bought in like they once were? What
it feels
caused that?
It feels like we're one step away from a player like refusing to go out onto the field. You know what I mean? Like the coaches have completely lost the locker room. I mean, that's what it looks like.
It looks like that, and I worry about that. I'll agree, but I don't know if that's the case. I have yet to hear anything anywhere that
I haven't either.
Right.
If you remember, like many of the returning players, and even some that were planning to return and didn't, Bray was their guy, and a lot of players previously rallied for Bray for his promotion to defensive coordinator, and then they delivered, on the back of that, and that's the part where I'm like, who lost the locker room? Really?
Yeah.
It is so like multifaceted that I do think that Bray is very inexperienced, maybe a bit over his head now. How do I pull out of this tailspin? That's something that experienced coaches can navigate fairly easily. And I think that's a tough task given the climate for Oregon State and Trent Bray being new.
We do have to talk about the final play of the half, which almost became a fucking meme and a pretty embarrassing moment for Oregon State, where Air Force had used its timeouts. They get stopped in bounds with enough time to get their field goal unit on.
They ran a play
to
run the clock.
Extra long attempt at, I believe it was 53-yarder, but they're scrambling on, and they do have a good field goal kicker, and they barely get the snap off. They barely get the snap off and miss it, and it's like, all right, they missed it. We go into halftime. They've missed 2 field goals. It's 14-0. It sucks, but this isn't impossible. Had they made that field goal and made it a 3-possession game, and you still haven't scored yet, then you're kind of, up the creek without a paddle. But wait, we have to bring everyone back on because it looked like Trent Bray tried to ice the kicker as they were scrambling onto the field with the clock running, which I understand you generally ice a good kicker, but not when they're sprinting out, desperately trying. The Beavs blocked that kick. That could have been a block kick return for a touchdown. And totally changed the game. That's the best scenario as an opposing team down at the half defending a field goal, is long distance, them scrambling out there. And he did try to call that timeout, and they said, oh, it was too late. Never mind. Let's go to halftime anyway.
That was still...
And maybe he knew it was too late and he just went through the motion. But like I was shaking my head. Like, if they put 3 seconds back on the clock and we have to come back out here and kick, like, this is number 1 in Sports Center, not top 10. This is like the benefit for anything right now is just like most people just like aren't watching it, have tuned out and don't care. And so that's like the only thing preventing it from being super embarrassing to super fucking embarrassing. And I was just like, read the situation. Like, they're sprinting out desperate, trying to get this snap off. It's obviously not going to be a clean kick. It wasn't. The ball bounces a different way. Then maybe we score a fucking touchdown in this game. And it almost was a timeout given to Oregon State to give Air Force another chance to kick a field goal. Like, it just was a microcosm for everything.
There were just some really, really weird coaching blunders. I mean, I had texted you guys in the group chat where I forget what the down and distance or the circumstance was, but I know Giovanni was in, and Giovanni can do a lot. Throwing the ball far or hard is not one of them. And we run 2 go routes. Like, why? What are we doing? What are Giovanni can't. I have not seen him throw that ball with the exception of the first game against Idaho State. I have not seen him be able to accurately throw a deep ball we weren't beating their corners, and our offensive line is like a dam that's just leaking water right now. Like, I don't understand what the purpose of that was. And it seems like we are going out there and running like scripted plays or something, and not adjusting to what's happening on the field. And same thing with defense. And I get that Air Force, is run heavy, and so when they catch you on the pass, it is a surprise. But they didn't have one incompletion,
right?
And they ran for over 300 yards. It's just like, what are we doing to adjust to how these other teams are playing? Because it only gets worse after halftime.
And a couple,
that's what we've been seeing for the last
couple of their
weeks.
other dropbacks too. They got defensive pass interference or defensive holding. We sacked Hayes one time, and that felt like a net positive because we sack the quarterback less than any other team in America. I think a part of it that extrapolates, and you're touching on this, Benny, is we were getting manhandled in the trenches on both sides of the ball, which is not a thing that we've been accustomed to ever.
No.
We've had good lines. We've had good offensive and defensive lines, even in down years. Or at least like at the point of attack, like you weren't going to just run the ball down the middle on us. I know academy teams are a little bit different, but it's not like this was the first time we were kind of a sieve on stopping the run. Like we all remember that Nevada game, which is kind of where like the nines rolled over and we just went back to 0 and we're trying to figure this shit out. It's weird. It's like it's abject failure at every position group and every coaching area, and just I don't know where you can highlight a strength of anything.
What was interesting? So we've scored 20 points in the last month. We had a bye week. I forget how it went.
We're averaging less than 7 points a game the last 3 games.
Scored. Right. And if you remember back to last season when we played Washington at home, we lost 22-20. And when we scored 20 points, it was just like, oh, man, like so much opportunity. We never get held to only 20 points.
Yep.
And we've been held, and that was to like a top 5 team, I think. Right.
And we were a top 10 team.
Yeah. And now it's like we scored 20 points in
like
the last
sand through
month.
the hourglass.
Yeah. Against not top 10 teams. Like, just not good teams. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this along with getting beat by Cal 44-7,
right,
41, whatever it was,
a lot to a
it's
little.
It's just like, man, it's a tough season,
right? Well, and you couldn't get Hankerson going. They had their very long drive to start the game that resulted in a touchdown. We went 3 and out right away. They had the ball again for a long time. We got the ball back, but like you can't get. We haven't been able to manufacture touches to the tight ends with any consistency. We still have there was a first down to Taz Reddick's in the third quarter, I think, where I was just like, oh yeah, that guy who has only ever looked good when you've given him the ball and you can't find a way to get him the ball. Like Clemens, Zachary Card.
Where was Clemens?
Where was
Clemens? I saw him on the field a couple of times.
He participated.
A lot of guys participated. Yeah, a lot.
He was suited up.
That should have been Dashiell's entire article in the Oregonian after this was Air Force 28, Oregon State 0. Oregon State participated. End of story. The end.
Yeah.
Football game takes place. Oregon State participates. And that's putting it lightly.
On that real quick, I got to plug Scott's Beaver Dam. If you guys saw his post on, I think, Blue Sky, it was a bunch of, I believe, AI generated images about how the game went for the Beavs, and it was just like Beavers like screaming their heads off while like planes flew over them and like blew up their surroundings.
Jesus.
It felt so like too close to home, but also hilarious. It was a great interpretation. Well done, Scott.
Oh God, that is good.
Just so you know, Clemens had obviously no receptions. He also had nothing against Cal. I think he said 1 reception in the last 3 games, and it feels like we're still feeding Walker everything when we do throw the ball.
Doesn't it feel like we almost have to just completely flip over like everything?
What do you mean?
Like, or turn over everything? Like
the whole roster?
Yeah.
I think the whole roster will turn over. I don't know if it'll be for the better, which is scary, but I just kind of think that's the way it's going. You've got a handful of guys who will be going pro after this. And I don't know who
is anyone standing out enough to go, I can go somewhere else. I'll have more success there. Like,
that's a fair point.
Really?
That's a fair point, but also there's always the coaches held me back argument. And I mean, it's the wild is possible.
Plausible.
Yeah.
Plausible.
I mean, I think I don't want to get full into speculating on who's betting or bailing, as it were.
People will bail. You can bet on that.
We'll have a lot.
2024.
Yeah, and that's not something I'm not going to kill the coaching staff for just like general turnover. That's just the cost of doing business. But we'll have a lot of winter episodes to talk about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's also like, if you are Bray and the coaching staff, you do like re-recruiting your roster is a thing that needs to happen with every program in college football right now. So I hope to God they're being pragmatic and mapping out visions for guys, next year, 2 years from now, and making a case for why you should stay here. If you're guys like Clemens, Reddick's, Card, who have all done pretty cool things with the ball in their hands, and they are currently in an offense that can't get the ball in their hands, I couldn't blame any of them for leaving.
No,
even if it's down a level or like FCS level, like guys go from those levels to the pros all the time. It's like I'm gonna go. I want to be used. I want to play. I want the ball in my hands, at least a little bit. And great receivers think they should get the ball in every play. And there's obviously a little bit of a happy medium that exists there, but these guys aren't getting the ball in their hands on any plays. We can't find a way to get it.
We're not running enough plays.
We're also not running enough plays. We're not getting enough first downs.
Not even close.
Yeah. I was about to say something nice about recruiting, but I'm going to save that for later in the season. Josh Green did have a 68-yard punt. That was cool. Shout out, Josh.
Yeah.
That was the highlight.
That was the highlight.
That was the highlight.
I can't think of another one.
Aiden Robinson had a sick hit on a play that they still gained like 45 yards on. He was close to making the play, and that was an insane completion. So like I said, credit where credit's due. Air Force did make some incredible plays, but I was just trying to think of anything positive. I thought of that Jaden hit on that play where they still had a huge third down conversion and went from like the 10 to the 50 and probably scored. I don't know which white guy named Cade scored that touchdown on that drive, but a different white guy named Cade scored a touchdown on that drive. God damn it. Cade McNown. It wasn't him, but it might as well have been.
He looked like Cade McNown.
I'll just to okay. I texted you guys this though, and I do think that this is an interesting topic and one that I'm intrigued by, because Bray explicitly said that he wanted to be on the sidelines when he was promoted to defensive coordinator, that he was not going into the booth because he wanted to be there as a coach, to feel the vibe, to light a fire, to help just be there with and for the players and have a better understanding of the flow of the game and how their mentality is. Both of his coordinators are high up in the sky every single game. And yet you have to wonder, like, is there an advantage to that? I've questioned this a lot. Like, is there an advantage to that as a first-time coordinator that you've got a better perspective? Is it naive to think that, like, hey, it worked for Bray, it should work for others to be on the sideline? Will it change something if they do make a shift and come out of the booth? I mean, there's something does have to change, and I feel like it might be as simple and stupid as that could at least move the needle even slightly. But like, especially on the offensive side, again, I'll harp on it because I think that the defense, for the most part, looked improved compared to the last like 3 games prior. And I think that the offense has just looked like it's regressed every game for the last 4 games. And to iron that in a bit, we had, I don't know if you've looked at like the drive chart, but I mean, obviously you watched it, but first drive punt, we went 1 yard, 81 seconds off the clock. Next drive interception, we moved 35 yards for 3.5 minutes. That was our longest drive of the game.
My God.
We're hitting on all cylinders until that incredible interception.
Punt, 21 yards, 2 minutes. Punt, 12 yards, 2 minutes. Punt, 9 yards, 2 minutes.
It's like a fucking Bears game.
Downs after 22 yards gained and 1:40, and then downs after 28 yards, 2.5 minutes, and then downs 47 yards, which was the longest yardage drive of the game, which was our final drive for just under 3 minutes. So that is a stark contrast from the first 4 weeks.
Well, you got me thinking of this, and no, I don't think it's naive to think that having coordinators on the sideline versus the booth can have an effect. Obviously, Bray was incredibly successful immediately after he took over for Tibbs in 2021. It was like, it looked like a completely different defense for the second half of that season. And I'm not going to say that's just because Bray was on the sideline getting them hyped up. But I do think it's something that may have a bit more of an effect in college versus the pros, when like you're coaching adults, but it's young adults. And I do think at this point of the season where it's been this vanilla and this ineffective, you've got 2 games to play no matter what. And Beaver Nation needs to see something. I said this before last week, even the weeks before, I was like, I wasn't super into bowl eligibility. And now I don't think anyone's really thinking about bowl eligibility because we're playing 2 way better teams than the last few teams that just beat us in the next 2 games. But I think moving guys down to the sideline from the booth and trusting your assistants who are in the booth to like give you the insight that you glean from being, up there and being able to have like the Hawkeye view and the all 22 view as well. Like that, remind the guys that you're in this with them and this is a collective and it hasn't been good enough. And we're going to try and see how they respond because I'm not a fan of being like, everyone needs to be fired. This is because of how unacceptable this is, because I don't know what the solution is, but I also want to see actual tangible adjustments that they've made.
Or at least attempts at adjustments. That's what I think is so infuriating, is like, we're just trotting out the same. I mean, like, it's vanilla. It's predictable. It's soft. I mean, like, you could apply the labels anywhere you want on either side of the ball or special teams. And yet everyone's just showing up and still doing that every week. And that's the part where I'm like, can you just do something different? Like anything. Give us something.
It's like there's no game plan being built for our opponents.
Right. Logan Ryan said that on the broadcast. Former Patriots player, color guy. This isn't a silver lining because Jordan Kent, who was on play-by-play, went to Oregon. But I was like, I think Jordan Kent and Logan Ryan are actually doing a pretty good job on this game. And that was before it was 28-0. And by the end of the game, Logan Ryan was like, Oregon State doesn't have a plan. They didn't come here with the plan. And they're like, Oregon State has decided to do this. I completely disagree with it. And then it would go wrong. And it just, there is no ostensible adjustment that, fuck, like layman's terms, like anyone watching could see like, that didn't work. Try this. it was just going out there for its own sake, and it felt like going through the motions. The only really real decision it seemed like they made was at halftime, the decision to go with Bari instead of Giovanni for every drive in the second half, and I don't think it would have made much of a difference either way. No one was
not with the plays that were called. I mean, immediately after the fumble, we go first down pass, which I know everyone's harping and has harped on Gunderson about the predictability of rush, first down rush, second down rush, third down throw.
Pass.
Yeah. That's, a classic structure of getting a first down in football. I mean, it's very, very predictable and obvious. But then it's like, did he do that because it was working with the personnel? And I mean, I'm not going to complain about how well it worked the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
No.
It worked very well, even when we would just still rush on third down. But we come out of that out of the fumble. Jabari incomplete. Jabari hit Taz Reddick. That was Taz's play. First down. Then we go first down throw incomplete. Second down throw incomplete. Third down rush for 2 yards. Fourth down. Bari gets sacked, turnover on downs.
Dude.
What was that? What were you scheming for there?
Right.
Honestly, I want to hear it. I want to know what he saw. I'm not demanding that he has any requirement to tell me, but somebody explain it to me then. What was that? At that point, it was 14-0. We just stopped them. I got a turnover.
We got our first turnover. You can get a touchdown, and then it's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah, and yet we trot out that play calling. It goes nowhere, and I think literally we lost the attention of the players after that point.
No, I'm sure.
There's so many things that can be suggested and said. It just feels like the team's not playing to its strengths, either intentionally, which is bad, or unintentionally. You have Jabari in there who has not taken a ton of snaps in game. And he's a kid and didn't play a ton last year either. But how you don't have a way to simplify things for him. You've got a lot of guys with speed on the outside. It didn't seem like we had anything ready to get.
Where was the fly
ball
sweep?
It didn't seem like we had a fly sweep or anything quick.
Yeah, nothing.
Maybe that's what they were calling, and it was just so fucked up, and they couldn't execute it. But I just don't believe that.
And in Bari's defense as well, look, he definitely did not have a good game in his first go around in a Beavers uniform where he took the majority of the snaps. But if you're trying to build the confidence of a guy you're going to end up sticking with after halftime, why are you alternating quarterbacks to your first couple of drives?
I didn't understand the alternating quarterbacks thing at all in the first half.
And there's no way. I'm not going to say what we know or we've heard about Ben and not traveling and why he wasn't there. And I assume that he would have started had he been able to sit up and travel.
Someone from the fucking team could give any kind of injury clarity.
Sure.
That is one thing that it's a sticking point with me, that there's just zero communication about that.
And I understand that, and I get that, but it doesn't bother me so much as it does. Clearly, the coaches knew that there was a very high likelihood that Ben wasn't going to travel and play, but yet they didn't have their plan B ironed out at quarterback enough that they had to alternate to just see whose hand was hot.
Are we still trying to figure? I mean, we still are trying to figure out who our starting quarterback is.
Sure,
we have 2 games left in the season. It's
where's
crazy.
the confidence that you're building in a kid when you're our incumbent starter, who was not the starter at the beginning of the season and didn't earn the starting job, got it out of performance or lack thereof potentially of the actual starter that we named. And now, by the way, he can't go. And you're next on the depth chart, theoretically. But we're going to still see if the guy we benched could come out and do something.
Or they've totally given up and they're already just coaching for next year. That is the most generous reading of it possible, which still doesn't excuse you from getting your ass handed to you at Air Force and having that lackadaisical of an effort. But yeah, I can.
Well, think about too. If you're Giovanni, how many times has he been benched? Like
twice,
3 or 4. Well,
twice technically.
There was to Ben, and then
I guess this game. So technically twice.
It feels more, but like if you're Vonnie,
and to him it probably feels a lot more,
right?
Yeah. Well, and they're alternating him back between quarterbacks and sort of trying to figure
earlier
out,
in the season they were doing the Aiden Childs thing with Jabari as well.
They were, but
wasn't technically a bench.
Yeah, if you're Giovanni, you'd almost be petrified to make a mistake, knowing that if you do make one, you're going to be put back onto the bench. You can't
play like that.
You can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that and expect your players to respond well. That is a way to absolutely erode all confidence out of a kid that they may have had. Yeah, that's not fair to do. You have to stick with somebody.
Yeah, and that's way fair. I think even Vonnie would say, hey, if I lost the job and I'm working my ass off to get it back, and I know I have to do something or reach some sort of level or perform some certain way for the coaches to trust me to give me that opportunity again if it arises. But that's that gives you a one-track mind of how do I get back there? How do I grab it again? Whatever the circumstance is that brings me back into the starting role, how do I prove that once I'm back there, I can keep it? And it's you can't really keep it because we're just going to decide as the game goes on. And so this next drive might determine if you are our starter. So go on out there and have fun. It's not possible.
No.
It works to the detriment of players in both directions, whether it's building up a guy's confidence or killing it. It feels so unprepared. We didn't have a plan. It really does.
Yeah.
No plan. I think that's a pretty good summation of what we watched on Saturday afternoon.
Yep. Do we even want to do better bail? Because if I better win, I'm bailing on that. That is out.
We all predicted Oregon State wins over Washington State this coming week. We can do this quick. I predicted a 28-23 Oregon State win. I'm bailing on that. The Wazoo could be reeling after that heartbreaking loss to New Mexico. Their college football playoff hopes are over. But they're a proud team. They're a good team. Changing Wazoo wins.
Whoa, 10.
Yeah, they're going to be.
What did you see last week?
High optimism. Double digits? Calm down, Terry. How many hams have you had? 38-10, but mostly whatever. Wazoo is early 12.5-point favorites, over under at 56.5. P, your preseason prediction was 30-21 win. Oh, in what way are you bailing?
We're gonna win 3-0.
Let's go.
We're gonna carry Everett Hayes off the field in his final senior home game.
That'd be amazing. That would be amazing.
To win the whatever cup you called it, Terry.
Rivalry. The battle of the besties.
Yeah, the battle of the besties rivalry.
Nice.
So I'm
keep this
betting.
This is one of the highlight videos.
Yeah.
3. So that is a strong under on the 56.5 total.
I told you the defense is looking back to themselves. At least they're moving that direction.
The defense, last couple of weeks, there's at least something tangible there. Benjamin Lawrence, Sebastian Wehage, your preseason prediction was a 17-14 Oregon State win.
I'm bailing on that. Washington State's going to definitely cover the spread. 12.5 seems so low. I think Washington State, I'll say 34-7.
All right. Well, we're all on the under mostly because Oregon State is not going to contribute. 56.5. That does seem I might hammer the under. I might drive down to Iowa just to make a special. This podcasting.
So you're not coming for the game?
Podcasting's not paying all the bills, folks. I'll be in Boise with Benny. Already planned.
I'm gonna go on Saturday. I'm going.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad we'll have some down there. But yeah, it's.
I'll walk up to that booth and drag Hayward and Gundy out by their ears if I have to.
Coach from the sideline. Coach from the sideline.
And throw them over Beaver Street's
you could
barrier to get them onto the field. I will do it.
The coaching booths are connected to the press box. We would never get credentialed again. But hey, man.
Well, wouldn't it be the first time?
Greatness requires a great sacrifice.
Yeah. Do we want to win or not? Do you guys want me to do this or not?
Then get on the sidelines. Damn it.
Come on.
Get down there. Get down there.
Yeah.
Hold the elevator. These guys need to get on the elevator right now.
So just yanking them by their earlobes. I love it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Unless they're down there.
Benny, what the hell is happening?
Oh, did you just get a bag of Ruffles?
Benny.
No, I got a bag of, this is in honor of Oregon State men's basketball team. Some flaming hot Cheetos. The loudest food to eat again on the pod. Don't worry, I'll mute myself.
Well, you didn't just mute yourself, so we got the full audio of you sprinting upstairs and sprinting back downstairs. So why even
look like
mute
you're
yourself
wearing
now?
Lipstick?
You already do. You are. You need to become a talk with your hands guy, so you can when you're like, no, that's where you're wrong, Terry, and point at us with your very red, dusty fingertips.
Hey, life hack: you got to eat them with chopsticks. It's easier to reach in the bag, and you don't get anything on your fingers.
Do you make more noise, less noise, or the same amount of noise pulling them out of the bag? While you're fucking podcasting.
Less. It's like playing Operation, the game, the board game. You're like, make it through.
This is, I'm sending this snippet and just this snippet only, to the Webbies, to the Ringer. Hey, we're serious podcasters. Listen to one of our co-hosts eat flaming hot Cheetos. An hour and Operation and 69 minutes into episode 166.
Nice. Hell yes. Eating with chopsticks with my wife who was born in Japan is so embarrassing.
Imagine you doing it for flaming hot.
Eating with chopsticks.
Oh my god. She would divorce me. She'd be so embarrassed for me. I feel so white when I use chopsticks in front of her.
Yeah,
you just use a fork.
You have to you got to try.
Hands, one chopstick in each hand.
I've gotten better, but sometimes when I eat sushi, the whole roll just fall apart.
And you just pick it up with your hands and shove it into your mouth like the slob that you are.
These are chopsticks, I swear. My fingers are just
natural chopsticks. My two.
Yeah. Yeah, like Steve Jobs said, why do you need a stylus on a phone, right? Like the Palm Pilots had, when you have 10 styluses on your hands. You should tell her that. Why do I need chopsticks when I have 10 chopsticks on my hands?
Let me eat my ramen with my 10 chopsticks.
Yeah, just scooping them all.
Let's pause for a minute to let the Gen Z listeners Google what Palm Pilots were. I never really got the point of them. But officially from now on, the 69th minute of the show will be the Flamin' Hot minute.
Brought
sponsor us, Cheetos. Sponsor us,
cowards.
We're sitting right here.
I'm gonna have to toggle that this is a promotional video on YouTube. I know.
Yeah, exactly. Benny,
they're gonna force my hand.
You've been waiting all day to talk about how excited you are about the men's basketball team. So you wait until we transition from football to men's basketball to just shove flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah, to the point where you can't speak because your mouth is so burning hot.
Anyway, guys, your and our Oregon State men's basketball team are 4-0. All 4 wins by 19 points or more. All 4 wins featuring dominant second halves They're 4-0 for the first time since the Gary Payton II-led 2015 that made the NCAA tournament. And now, next up, at legendary Gill Coliseum, home of the Gill beer, birthplace of the Gill dog, the legendary arena itself, they will face the also 4-0 University of Oregon Mallards, I believe they are called, on Thursday night at Gill on ESPN Plus, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I want to start with this. We're going to talk about the X's and O's of this team. We're going to talk about the individual talents of this team. We're going to talk about Tinkle's assembly of this team very quickly. But I sent a note over to our friend Sam Whiteley at the Peyton Years podcast earlier today, essentially saying most anticipated regular season game since when? And that doesn't mean the same as most important regular season game, most iconic, whatever. We've had some big games against Oregon, against Arizona, against Utah, USC, UCLA, some of these big games. But being 4-0 for the first time in almost a decade, just the second time in Tinkle's tenure, with everything that's gone on with realignment, the only game against the Ducks, them also being 4-0, this has to be the most anticipated fifth regular season game of a season in our fucking lifetimes. Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
I can't argue that.
Right.
No, and it's like the fact that it's so unexpected too. I don't think anyone was expecting to see us play this well, because it's not just 4-0. This team has looked so good.
Right.
Like, and so good.
The level of competition has been even something to be desired, but how many times have we seen Utah Tech, Weber State, Western Oregon, Cal State, Fullerton equivalents mark the first 4 games of a season and see nothing close to this? That's been the majority. Oregon State being 2-2, or it like we haven't been 4-0 since a team that was clearly a tournament team. So it's always a low bar with men's basketball. People are always being like, yeah, but, and 4 blowouts, no matter who you're playing, is significant. And if they win this game on Thursday, it'll be the first 5-0 start of any of our lifetimes. Even yours, Benny.
No shit.
The last time Oregon State started a season 5-0 was the 84-85 season.
Damn.
Which would be great. It'd be fun, but also it would mean beating the fucking Ducks. So there's so many layers to this. Kind of like, what is the number one thing you guys are thinking of as we move towards this game on Thursday?
Oh, my number one thing is, Benny, are you still planning on going to this game?
Yes. Do it. I'll buy you hot Cheetos in Boise if you do it.
My lips really look like I have lipstick on. I just noticed that. I don't know. I got that last second request to go down to San Francisco this week for work, and that kind of throws a wrench into it, but we'll see. I'll see how much work
if you go JP will go.
Work.
I think I'm going to go anyways. I think super secret producer Skinner's going to go.
Yeah. Dude, it'll be a good time, I think.
It will be a good time.
Like, yeah, I don't know. JP, you were going to say your excitement level. I won't.
No, that was it. I just wanted to know, are you going to go?
Okay.
This is how we measure excitement.
I'm so excited. I think I'm going to go. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that I don't know if I've ever been this excited for any preseason game, like any pre-conference game. And
not even Oregon, Duke on Thanksgiving.
That was one that popped up.
That was
in my head. But we had just lost to Portland State right before that, so I think that dulled the anticipation a little bit.
Yeah. So Oregon looks super vulnerable too. They should have lost to University of Portland. I mean, they were down by
Portland.
They were down by like 10.
Portland
left, right?
Gave that game away. They absolutely gave it away.
Portland is hold on, I had it up here. Portland is the same team that lost to University of California, Santa Barbara 94-53.
Is that good?
On Oregon's court. So I think that was probably a game that Oregon overlooked Portland, but still, that is that. But we talked about how this team in years past could have gone 2-2 against the competition that we've seen. Even if they went 4-0, like this team looks like a team that can make it to the tournament. And I say that in the fact that the way that the ball moves around, the unselfishness of this team, and the way that they can beat you in so many different ways. They have so many different threats.
The depth.
Yeah. Dude. Yes. Anybody that goes onto the court, to me, it's like, oh, let's see what this guy can do.
We're just rotating in like more dudes. That's what it feels like every single time.
100%. Like and Nate Kings and DeMarco Minor,
yeah.
The way that they can control the game, and it seems like if one of them has an off night, the other one has an amazing night.
Yeah.
And not that Minor had a bad night against Fullerton, but Nate Kings just had an incredible night against Fullerton. He kept us in it in the first half, and that game was really interesting to me because Oregon State really hadn't faced any adversity. The first half against Fullerton was sort of the first time we were like, what's going on here?
Right.
And they adjusted and just came out guns a-blazing in the second half of that game. And that was a game where Parsifala, he couldn't even get a shot up. Like they would just double, triple team him down low. And we really struggled how to figure that out in the first half. But you had like Lella Vicious, who came off the bench and just hit some huge shots. Ratai was dominant down low. And like I said, Nate Kings just fucking balled out in that game. Yeah, I don't know, man. This team is so fun to watch.
Right.
It's so fun to watch these guys play.
Is a team that can win a variety of ways that we've seen. Just the small sample size. The depth helps. The length this is probably the longest team we've seen, certainly under Tinkle. Their number heading into today, I know there have been some other college basketball games today, but as of this morning, they're the number 7 team in the country of all 350 all Division I teams in block shots. And there's multiple guys who have had 2+ blocks on the season. They're just getting in the way, getting in passing lanes. We've talked a lot about DeMarco Minor already, and he just does so many things well. I don't want this to read like I'm already comparing him to Gary Payton II, because that's as high praise as praise gets, but he kind of occupies similar spaces, and he's not going to throw down dunks the same way that GP2 did. But like, you look at what he's doing now as a point guard, averaging 11.3 points a game and also 5 assists per game and over 4 rebounds a game and over 3 steals per game. And he's blocked 3 shots as well. If you watch the way he rebounds, he gets the ball at its like highest point, and just he's going to stuff the stat sheet in a way that we haven't really seen from a point guard. Kind of like this, these guys are unicorns who can just do everything well. And when Kings is hot, he'll get the ball to Kings. When Fala is unguardable in the post, he'll get the ball to Fala. When I think Ratai is going to be the most consistent player on this team, they've shown pretty good chemistry already. It is a lot of new parts that haven't played together. So if there's moments of adversity or where it just seems clunky, I think we need to remember to be patient. Like, these guys are still getting to know each other, but there's something here that has been missing from a lot of teams.
It's called buy-in.
Yes.
There's something here that was missing on Saturday in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it is buy-in too. But there's a lot of we were complimentary of Tinkle for being like, all right, what can we do? This is obviously an unfair playing field. Corvallis has been a difficult place to recruit people, and he's gotten a lot of international players. International players have a completely different set of NIL rules, expectations, and opportunities. But that doesn't mean you just get good international players because they can't make NIL money. You still have to sell them on something. You still have to have a plan for them. You still have to have them buy into that plan. I think he has too, but it's just manifesting in a really interesting, effective way when it hasn't in previous years.
It is an epic pivot by Tinkle and the staff to go find these Euro guys who, one, no disrespect to anybody who transferred in or transferred out, they understand. Most of them played professionally before coming to Oregon State. They understand the professionalism of how to carry yourself and be a teammate and understand your role and excel in your role. Whatever the coach and the staff puts you in to do, that's what you want to be the best at. Like, they look at it that way because they're not thinking, no, in my mind, I'm this. Not what this coach is telling me. That's wrong. I don't want to do that. Like, how can they ask me to do that? I've never done that. Right? Like, they are out there going, okay, if that's what they think I'm best used, that's what I'm going to do. And I think there's obviously a big talent leap that had been made with a lot of these guys coming in, not just the Euro guys, but lots of the team right now. But it shows that Tinkle is reciprocating their buy-in back to them. I mean, he's playing 10 guys at least 10 minutes average this season so far. I mean, that's close. That's like, it's two starters. Like, that's, to me, like, shows one, again, back to the depth. The depth is huge, but also that he has trust in the players because they have bought into what he's selling them. And I would be hard pressed to find anything similar besides some like blue chip program that has the same kind of buy-in for some, with their own longtime coach.
Well, and I think, when it comes to international, and this is like a very high level generalization, but it seems like Oregon State has always had players that are more interested in playing ISO ball than this year, right? Like, this year, no one's trying to play ISO ball. Everyone's just passing to the open man. And Tinkle's system just does not work if you have guys that are trying to beat somebody on
be the hero. Yeah.
Like, it's not designed to work that way. And there was one part in the game against Fullerton. So Isaiah C, he really struggled shooting the ball. 0 for 5 for threes. And I think all of those were taken within the first 10 minutes of the game. And I believe it was Josiah Lake that went up to him after the 5th miss. And it was like rapid, right? Like, it ended so many early possessions. And Josiah Lake went up to him and slapped him on the butt and said, you could tell he was like, keep shooting it, right? And so that just instills a confidence in you as somebody who is there to shoot the three. And that's the sort of chemistry that you want. And we touched on it a little bit. JP, you did, of all these players outside the starting five that are getting minutes. And it's like, when these guys come in, right? Like, Josiah Lake is one of them who, when he comes in, you're just like, hell yeah. Like, I want to see what this guy can do. Matthew Marsh got 21 minutes on against Fullerton on Friday, where he hadn't gotten 10 minutes in the game previous to that. And he just came in there and really stifled the Fullerton post game. It was a huge factor in doing that. And then you have Lelavicius, who's coming off the bench. And to be honest, I don't think he's going to be coming off the bench forever a whole lot going forward. Like, he was, you guys alluded to it before the season started, like how big that was to get him eligibility. And he is showing that now. I just can't think of a time in years past where you had bench players where you're like, nice.
Right.
I want to see what he can do. It was almost like, okay, can he hold it together until Pope can get back in?
Right. This will be a thing that we talk about as the season continues, and I guarantee
that we need to make Beaver Munch shirts.
That we need to make Beaver Munch for Johan. But like every game, and I think Tinkle is cut out to handle this, but it's when you get into conference play, rotations typically shrink to 8 and set at that, and there will be games where talented guys don't get minutes, and when things go well, we'll be like, look at this embarrassment of riches. And when things go poorly, we'll be like, Tinkle should have played this guy. So it'll be easy podcasting for us. But that's a good problem to have that I don't think he's certainly had with some previous teams, but not more often than not. And this will be, a thing where it's like, Fala had 3 fantastic games and then a game where, he couldn't get the ball to go through the net, and Marsh came in and was big for that. I think you'll see. I think Maxime Logie is going to get more than just like fun minutes at the end of blowout wins later this season, and you got to get Lila Vicious in there, but you've got a starting 5 that's playing really well together, and for them to be doing this without getting the hot shooting from Isaiah C, I still think he's played well. The ball just hasn't been. Yeah, the rim is just small right now, but that rim's going to get huge at times. And for them to be doing this without him catching fire, knowing that that's something that they have in their bag that will come at some point, it just bodes well. It bodes well. This is what we were saying we wanted at the beginning of the season to start this 4-0. We were saying, hey, Gill's been quiet in these games. It's been not packed, but you got the Ducks coming into town and you're undefeated. This is the time to fill Gill. It's not the main reason why we were recording on Sunday night, but damn it, we need to spend this whole week trying to get Gill as packed and as loud as possible, because I remember when we were in school in the first year of the Craig Robb era, and for all of the ups and downs that included, that first game against Oregon, which ended up being a Beaver win in a packed Gill, was one of the most rewarding sporting experiences of my life. I got to cover that game for the Barometer. You couldn't see any part of the bleacher because people were there, and AC Green was there hyping people up on the floor and everything like that. And it just meant so much. So this is the only time we're playing these bastards this year. Get to Gill on Thursday. I just looked at flights. They're too expensive, but I'm about a hams and a half away from money not mattering. And it's fun.
Easy.
You're
almost
fun.
There.
I'm almost there. I'll be there by the end of the show.
Night.
It's my typical baby night, baby.
Yeah, man. I don't know. There's just so much to look forward to with this team. We talked about it a little bit with football of how discouraging it is to see a team that just doesn't want to be there. This is the total opposite. This team is having so much fun with each other.
Jump on the bandwagon, Beaver fam. We're a basketball school, baby.
Yeah,
always.
I mean, if you are a student at Oregon State, or a student at Oregon State, like I don't think people realize how fun Gill can be when
Gill is so fun,
because it hasn't been that way for men's basketball for so long.
And now don't forget you can grab your Gill dog and accompany it with a Gill beer, which only
which we couldn't do. Ooh. I mean, we did. The experience. We did nefariously.
I'd hide beers behind dumpsters out, which is now where I believe the performance center is. Run out at halftime and have a beer behind a dumpster. And I
don't know if they allow re-entry
really
anymore.
Winning at life at that point.
They don't. I know re-entry at Research done, but I don't know if they allow re-entry at Gill.
They don't.
Dude, there is going to be a dunk this year by Lila Vicious that is going to tear the roof down on Gill.
It's going to be delicious.
It's going to be such a delicious, love-vicious dunk. You could just tell, man, the athleticism on this kid.
It was that first. I mean, it was later in the season when conference play, but it was that game against the Ducks that really kind of started that run in 15-16 where we realized we had something special. That game against the Ducks where BP2 and Drew Eubanks just decided, like, you know what? Fuck these rims. I'm going to unleash as much abuse and violence on these rims as I possibly can. And they played that game like they were trying to destroy the rims on every single play. And it worked. They blew out the Ducks in that game and that fuck Dylan Brooks. And it was one of my most fun Civil War, my favorite Civil War basketball games we've ever had. So I hope someone throws down, but really just keep it going. Keep the block party going. I would love to see a few balls just rejected towards Dana Altman's stupid face, or early and often. This would mean a lot. This is bigger than a basketball game. This would mean a lot. It's not something that would undo anything. It's not something that would change the fact that we're playing in the WCC and all of this uncertainty still surrounds the university. But this is more than just a basketball game. And if you can get your first 5-0 start in 40 years and on account of beating these assholes, I don't care what happens the rest of the year. I'll be forever grateful for these first couple weeks in November for as long as I'm alive. So I'm putting some stakes on this game personally and professionally. I can't wait until Thursday night.
To be honest, like, I don't think the WCC should be poo-pooed at all. Like, the WCC
it shouldn't.
is better than the Pac-12. I get
right
it.
Now.
I get it. It will be better than the conference that we are creating. Well, I shouldn't say that. San Diego State will be in the Pac-12 room.
And so will Gonzaga.
And so, yeah. Okay,
Don't forget
I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, never mind. This is going to be a really good basketball conference.
With us leading the way, we'll be the best basketball team.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It will be fun, though. This get on the bandwagon. Seriously, so get on the fucking bandwagon.
And
get to Gill.
These kids deserve a fucking raucous crowd cheering for them.
Yes, they do.
With how well they
they're
played.
Expecting a raucous Gill. I don't think they're expecting.
I don't think they're expecting it, but I know that's so. Give it to them.
Yeah, it'd be incredible to show them how we can do it.
Anything we can do. Oregon State Athletics.
Man, I want to go so bad.
You have us on speed dial, Benny. Or you should. Benny, go. Do it. So anyone in the Gill programming department, hit us in our DMs. I don't know what social media we're checking the most now. Belligerent Beavs at gmail.com. Email us like the old days. we're on Blue Sky. Hit us. Let us know how we can, anything we can do to make Thursday night as special as possible.
We'll even do it like a funny halftime thing if you
need
gig
too small. Yes.
Like I'll put us in blindfolds and make us
donate
sword fight or something.
Yeah, make us sword fight.
Yeah. Whatever kind of sword fighting you want, we're down.
Yeah. I'm really good at one kind of sword
I'll fight the Ducks with sword. Put a sword in my hand and put Dana Altman on the other end, and we'll see what happens. I will go to jail for this team. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. But I'll do almost that.
But maybe, yeah. Well, likely.
That I am 2.5 hams away from. So I'll be there by the end of the show. I need 1.5 hams to book the ticket and 2.5 hams to joust Dana Altman, which is what the people want.
Is that in
what do you call it?
That's just total.
Obviously a jousting game.
Benny, you eating those are just making me so hungry.
Oh man. I ate an early dinner. I am starving right now.
I need some. I need to go.
Obviously, a medieval game. Obviously, a jousting game.
Medieval game. Obviously, a jousting game. Cheetos. Obviously, flaming hot Cheetos.
Your lips look great, by the way.
Your lips look flaming hot Cheetos lips.
They should. I can't believe they haven't done that.
They have to. I bet you they do somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We should have Belligerent Beavs lipstick.
We could do that
for the Belligerent Beef store.
What would it taste like?
Whatever.
Oh,
what happened to the candle we sold? Did it sell out?
Yeah, they do have flaming hot Cheeto lip balm.
Do they?
At Walmart. That would be so miserable. Oh, my lips hurt so bad. Here. Put on some flaming hot Cheeto.
Yeah, replace someone's lip balm with flaming hot lip balm.
That is a joke waiting to happen to our secret producer.
Yep. He doesn't listen to the show. He just pretend edits it. And he's going to, because proof that he doesn't edit the show is Benny's chip bag noises will all be in the final episode. And not muffled out at all.
Bad job of putting myself on mute.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. Thanks for acknowledging it.
Anyway,
that's the first step towards healing.
Well, the 69th minute through the 99th minute. Thank you for listening to this 30-minute segment brought to you by Benny's Flamin' Hots, and for bearing with us. We apologize for the audio. Anything else you guys want to make sure you get off? Any other takes? Any shots? Anything?
And make sure you buy our Smells Like Beaver candle on our merch store.
Oh yeah.
Has it just been added back to it?
No, but I'll do it now.
Okay, sweet. It's candle season.
It is added back.
There we go.
Well, it's a little bit late, but yeah.
Hey, it'll be there. It'll be there by Thanksgiving. It's for these long, cold, dreary November nights.
Yeah,
get yourself a Belligerent Beavs candle
that smells like Beaver. But you know what? The tie in here, I don't know if anyone actually got this, but it does smell like Beaver because it's a vanilla candle. And if you know how vanilla extract is made
by Beavers,
that's the tie-in.
That's what they're making in their dams, Benny.
Isn't it through bark?
Vanilla?
Vanilla bark.
Vanilla extract.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you think trees are made out of, Benny? Vanilla extract.
I'm pretty sure vanilla extract is like.
I'm pretty sure I could convince you if I had enough time. I could convince you that there's vanilla extract.
Yeah, it's bark. Like beaver butt sweat.
Beaver butt sweat is how they. Oh man, that makes me want some vanilla extract. So just straight vanilla extract.
I used to dance under the name Vanilla Extract.
Next on stage, Vanilla Extract. Hey, in other news, Oregon State did sign officially Xavier. Is it Neons? You're
our baseball recruiting guys. So
yeah.
He's like number 2.
Benny
by Baseball America.
Strikes again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Welcome, Xavier.
Yeah. Everyone's saying they don't know if he's going to actually step foot on campus. I don't know why that is, because wouldn't he have had to have taken the money from ML if he got drafted?
No, he has another year of high school, I believe. If he's class of 2025, he would have another year of high school.
He's one more season.
Class of 2025.
Yeah, he's one more season.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. Duh.
Of course.
Benny Scoops.
Here, Candle is live. You can buy it now.
You can buy it right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
And it looks beautiful. It says in nice cursive, smells like, and then Beaver. And then you know what? The best part? Limited edition, original OG Belligerent Beavs logo is slapped on that label.
Oh!
Yeah. You got to have some throwbacks.
And it's made in the USA.
Are you sure you didn't just use a scalpel and take it off of another one of our candles and post it on ours?
We're coming up on the end of our 4th football season. We've got to have some throwbacks.
Yeah, it's a what I call them? Not like a fake. It was a
limited
edition misprint.
Right, misprint.
Limited. Yeah, I ordered the candle, but there was like a weird fake Pokemon card in it.
It came with a Pog.
Yeah, smells like Charmander. What is this? It's Charmander's tail. That's the flame of the candle. Make that, JP.
I feel like there should be Pokemon themed candles. They would sell like crazy. I'm gonna go start a business now. PokemonCandles.com.
Poke candles.
PokemonCandles.com. That'd be hilarious if it's available.
It's available.
I'm sure it is. This is the part of the podcast. This is the part of the podcast. You decide when the episode gets published.
No, I'm talking about you guys.
No, we're all in business together. We never.
I already bought it with my Cheeto fingers.
Yo, it's $1. It's a cent. I'm buying right now. I'm probably gonna get sued to oblivion.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty big company. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, whatever.
Worth it.
All right. Before JP gets sued, we should get out of here. This has been the 166th episode of the Belligerent Beavs Podcast, the official podcast of Fuck Oregon Basketball and Phil Gill on Thursday night. Let's go 5-0 for the first time since 1984-85. Technically, that would have been in 94. So 40 fucking years. Hard to believe Woodstock was 40 years ago. That's a deep cut. That's a joke just for you two.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks.
Jokes for just the people on the microphone makes great podcasting. Great listener experience.
Good job.
Sorry, you guys. Woodstock was more than 40 years ago, but 40 years ago this week, Oregon State men's basketball was 5-0, and they're about to be 5-0 again. God damn it! Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing. If you haven't done either of those things, do them now, wherever you get your podcast, whether that be Spotify, whether that be Apple, whether that be YouTube, whether that be something new and cool that I don't even know about yet. Wherever. And please take a moment to share the show with a friend and give it a 5-star review, wherever you are reviewing podcast. Last I checked,
or subscribe and like.
We were at 81 total reviews on Spotify, which is up from the 80 we were at last time I mentioned it. Let's get let's get to 180 by tomorrow, or just 82. I'll take either. I have been Terry Horstman. You have been a fantastic audience. We'd love to take you home with us. We'd love to take you home. You can follow me on Twitter at Terry Horstman, on Blue Sky at a handle I haven't memorized yet, but I've been
Terry
on it for
Horstman.bsky.social.
.app.
Yep.
Whatever.
That was you.
And
I'm looking at it right now.
And at Terrence Horstman on Instagram.com. I am joined, as I always am, by my brothers in Beaver, my two best friends from college, Benjamin Lawrence, Sebastian Weekage, a.k.a. Benny with the good quaff, a.k.a. Benny Bull Game. Not sure that nickname's going to come to fruition this year. Benny's still going to go to
Benny Boise.
He's still going to go to every bowl game and be like, fuck you, you're doing it wrong. A.k.a. Benny Bedlam, because he's fucking crazy, folks. And a.k.a. Benny Boise, because we will be in Boise. Rain, sleet, snow, 4-7 record to watch Ashton Shenty put the exclamation mark on his Heisman campaign, just because we're really excited about running backs winning the Heisman and blue dyed grass and having Thanksgiving dinner with not our families. So that's what we'll be doing in Boise. If you're going to the Boise State game, hit us up. And if you are thinking about going to the Boise State game, you hella should.
You should.
And let us know. And of course, our fearless leader on the ones and twos, the man keeping our ship pointed in the right direction, JP Bertram at the Trial J on Twitter. That's at the _Trial_J, because he's too trial to be real. And on Instagram at JP Bertram. Jay, say your Blue Sky name, whatever that might be.
At jp.gobeavs.app.
Dope. And if you want to go Beavs personalized handle on Blue Sky, hit up our guy PM, Digital Dam. He's in charge.
He did it for you?
He can do it. Yeah, and he can do it for you too.
You can't even sign up with 2 letters on Blue Sky's regular domain thing, but I got
if you
share
some hot Cheetos with him, anything can happen.
Yeah.
I'll send him some bags.
Follow us, for gosh darn sakes, at Belligerent Beavs on Twitter, at Belligerent Beavs everywhere else. We're on Blue Sky. We've been on Blue Sky for a while, actually.
Since
YouTube,
December.
Since last December. We were first. We're always first.
Shout out Ashton
Instagram,
for hooking us up with the invite.
Friend of the show, Ashton Batuso, back in action.
Get it up. She's like
check
doing
them out.
halftime shows now.
Doing halftime shows.
Kind of.
Yeah. They are shows that are out at halftime. So by nature, they are halftime shows. Keep doing your thing, Ashton. We love you. Where else are we? YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, Friendster, crashing your parents' 1999 desktop with LimeWire, crashing your current Mac by using Steam to play Backyard Baseball 97 on PC. You should be able to draft us in Backyard Baseball. Come on.
That'd be sick.
That'd be so sweet. And belligerentbeavs.com, belligerentbeavs.com/merch. Don't think I'm forgetting anything. Phil fucking Gill. Not night, but good night to those fuckers from down the road. Let's go 5-0. Together we tinkle. Got this. Thank you.
I love that hashtag.
Thank you.
Together we tinkle.
Thank you for tinkling with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for filling Gill with us. Remember, no matter how many fucking shutouts against Academy football teams, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what they take away, you quantifiably cannot spell chop 'em without hope. So, chop 'em!
Chop 'em!
Chop 'em!
Phil Gill, baby.
And next on stage, Vanilla Extract.